Hello and a very good afternoon to you from the National Stadium, Singapore. After being postponed twice, we are finally here, the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020, to kick things off in Group A. The very first match of the tournament sees Timor Leste up against Thailand. So here we are then in a majestic venue indeed, the National Stadium here in Singapore. This is what Group A looks like. Of course, no action as of yet, but we will have two matches from Group A taking place. Timor Leste up against Thailand first, as we mentioned, and then the host Singapore are up against Myanmar. So the crowds have been coming in early. The tickets do allow you to watch both games on offer. There's about an hour or so gap in between matches. Today there will be the opening ceremony as well, and lots of excitement, I can tell you, around town and around the region. Of course, this is the premier tournament of the region, and of course all of us have been starved of that sort of international action, haven't we, for some time now. And after all that the world has been going through, nothing like some top-notch football to provide some much-needed distraction and hopefully joy for the teams here. 10 teams doing battle. We were going to have, of course, a preliminary match, a qualifier between Timor-Leste and Brunei. Brunei decided to pull out because of the COVID-19 situation, so by default they have come through Timor-Leste for just their third tournament. Good to see some Thai fans in the house as well. Singapore, being the venue city, only the second time they've ever completely hosted this tournament, is in a unique position as a global city. It will have fans from all around the world, and especially, of course, from Southeast Asia. So you will see smatterings of, well, of course, Singapore fans. They're coming in early, but there are some Thai fans, or even some Timor-Leste fans, I've heard, in the house somewhere. Only 10,000 allowed into this 55,000 capacity stadium because of COVID-19 restrictions. The other venue, Bishan Stadium, will only allow 1,000. But there you have a lovely view of this very, very impressive arena, which has seen some top-class football in its rather short history. Started off with the likes of Juventus, we've seen Brazil, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur. Singapore, of course, have played plenty of matches here as well. We will have all the Group A games here, plus a Group B game, a whopping encounter between Malaysia and Indonesia. And then all the knockout rounds will be here. Reminder that both the semis are going to be 2 legs as well as the final. But all of that is to come in the ensuing weeks. For now, our attentions are on this very first game. Thailand, they're in the tunnel. They are the number 2 team at the moment in Southeast Asia. This is very different narrative to what we are normally used to. The conventional wisdom, of course, is that Thailand are top of the tree in Southeast Asia. But all that has started to change in the last few years, thanks to the emergence of Vietnam and how they have turned things around under coach Park Hang-seo. And we will see, I'm sure, them go even further. They're the only Southeast Asian side in the third round of World Cup qualification. That's where Thailand feel they should be, but they had a poor campaign and finished only above Indonesia in that group. As for Timor-Leste, well, this is only their third ever tournament in the AFF Championship. They were out in the group stages in 2004, 2018. They've never ever won a match at this level. 8 losses, 6 goals scored, 32 goals conceded. Thailand have played in all 12 editions. They've been involved in 70 matches, 43 wins, 16 draws, just 11 losses. They've scored 151 goals and conceded 88. that is by far the highest scoring team in this competition. There's Tirsin Danda, legendary player who has plied his trade in La Liga for a short while. He's the veteran of this side. He will lead his team out. It is certainly going to be a David versus Goliath encounter here. They're 194th in the world, Timor-Leste, ranked bottom in ASEAN. For Thailand, of course, record holders here, 5 times champions, 3 runners-up, 1 semi-final, 1 fourth. They've only exited the group stages twice, in 2004 and 2010, widely regarded as anomalous results. The champions in 96, 2000, 2002, 2014, and most recently in 2016. The 2 teams now starting to make their way out one by one this time, of course, due to COVID-19 regulations, but a proud moment for both, and particularly for Timor-Leste to be back in this tournament now. The new format means that virtually every Southeast Asian nation will be involved. Many of these players from Timor-Leste have been here for about a month and a half, more than that, in just a short while, as the players now file onto the pitch. And we will shortly have the national anthems.
Of Thailand.
Saw there Mano Porking, the very, very new coach of Thailand, who's just come in a few months ago, appointed, and he's said already he wants to bring this cup back to Thailand. That is a huge, huge undertaking. So he's already committed himself to that. 45-year-old German, a Brazilian German, also known as Alexander Porking, appointed in September. He said he was very, very proud. Previous experience of being the assistant with the Thai national team under Winfried Schaefer, 2012-2013. Has played before with the likes of Apoel and Olympiacos, and spent time with Bangkok United, Suphanburi and Army United now defunct club, has never won a trophy in Thailand, and that was some of the criticism leveled at him when he had the appointment, when he took over from Akira Nishino, but he is known for attacking football. Here's Fabio Magrao, who was here for the under-22 team when they were qualifying for the under-22 competition that Singapore hosted. I think they performed very creditably indeed. No one really gave them a chance, and they got a win against the Philippines, who have some members here in this competition, and they are quietly confident. All but 6 of that under-22 squad have stayed in Singapore, and then they brought over 6 senior players as they switch ends. And they've been training together every day here in Singapore, so they've had arguably the best training, in the sense that they've acclimatized exceedingly well. Now, before we get things underway, there is going to be a minute's silence here as we stand together in remembrance of family, friends, colleagues, and every person who has passed on due to the COVID-19. Lovely gesture there from the AFF, and it also works in conjunction with the tagline for this year's tournament, emerging stronger together. After what Southeast Asia and the world has gone through in almost 2 years, it is nice now to focus our attentions onto matters on the pitch. A massive undertaking here for Timor Leste, let's make no bones about it. They know they're right up against this Thai side that have disappointed in recent months in World Cup qualifying, and they want to put things right. If you recall, in 2018, the last edition, they did not bring their strongest side. That has changed this time round. They have brought in their foreign stars, their foreign-based stars. Chanatip Songkrasin and Tiraton Bunmatan were playing yesterday in Japan for Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo and Yokohama F. Marinos, so they will not be in action. But they should be able to manage without them today. Let's see how that pans out. Timor Leste to get us going. The opening match for the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020 finally gets underway. Thailand playing in all white. There's Tristan Doe playing as left back. Free kick here. Towards Mouzinho, who's one of the young talents of this side. They are the younger side, average age of 20. Timor Leste. Bit of them in the under-22s, and they were a feisty bunch. Really got stuck in and not overawed by the occasion. And the benefit for them is they have really nothing to lose. But we must remind you, these two sides met in the last tournament 3 years ago now. There's Paolo Gali, a rather controversial player who, depending on who you ask, is 16, 22, 25. Always been a bit of talk about him and his age, but he says he wants to let his football do the talking, and in this open competition, age is completely moot. Out on this right-hand side. And there's Naribadin. Puts the ball in. Stopped by Titipan. Now across the goal. Crossed here by Filomeno. There is no outlet for them. 4-2-3-1 for both sides, nominally anyway. You can imagine though that they will be getting behind the ball, Timor Leste. Quite happy to sit back in numbers, try and hit on the counter. There's Beer. No Badin. Snap shot. Why not? First attempt of this competition is a fairly innocuous one. It's straightforward for the goalkeeper Junilio. That just bounces over Mujinho. Already a bright start from Thailand. Now Rabadin down the line. Mujinho cleared away, trying to get the ball as far away from the danger as possible. Yeah, they're just instructions to his fullback. That looked to have gone out of play. Now on this left-hand side, Tirasin looking to get involved. Now Rabadin, he will make that first-time cross. Got to pick up these loose balls. Bordin Pala, he's done well to earn his team a corner. Now Rabadin seeing a lot of the ball already in these early stages. Remember that by the 13th minute I should say, Adisa Kroison had already scored 2 goals. He went on to score 5 goals in that, or 6 goals I should say, in that 7-0 defeat. Not helped by the sending off of Aderito in that match. They'll be hoping for something a bit less dramatic this time round. So far so good, early stages yet. Manuel Beer. Looking very controlled at the moment. Away by João Soares. Nothing too difficult at the moment for them to deal with, and Polking will be patient. He tries to play attacking football. It's Petiwat trying to play that through for Gordon Pala. Everything played inside the Timor-Leste half at the moment. No surprises whatsoever. Decent ball in. Tirasin's not going to get there. He applauds the effort. Yeah, Manu Polking very optimistic with his team's chances in this tournament. So they should be at the top of the tree again. Here's Mujinho though, as they try to look for their first attack, a meaningful one. Anish Gushmao keeping the ball fairly well here. You could see the idea from John Freeth. Just a little too much on that for Paolo Galli. Some little signs here for Fabio Magrao. He's a colourful character on the sidelines. Saw quite a lot of his gesticulation in the Under-22 tournament just about a month and a bit ago. Back to Narubadin. Very quick to play those crosses in. So far they've dealt with them fairly well. Away by João Soares. Back by Tristan Doe. Narubadin, who's probably seen the most of the ball so far. Titipan. Patience is the name of the game in a match like this. And one team will absolutely dominate the possession. Just trying to break down what needs to be an organised defensive posture from the Timor Leste side. And at the moment, they're doing a decent job of it. Dangda, Dangda just trying to get through. There's the outlet in Rufinho. He's got that lonely task as the sole man up front. Rufinho Gama, who's key to their needs, is the record goal scorer for Timor Leste. 7 goals, 18 appearances for his country. A real desire to get things going, as you could probably expect from Timor-Leste at the moment. They are just happy to slow it down as much as possible. No rush. Remember, they have never won a game at this level, so anything they can get out of it, they'll be absolutely delighted, and they'll be quietly confident because they feel that most teams have just written them off prior to this tournament. I feel they are starting to really build something together. They certainly have at age group levels. In Singapore and all scare, they drew 2-2 in that game only because of a last gasp goal from Singapore. And they were down 10 men, by the way, in the second half. So it was a stirring performance, and most of those players are here today. They beat the Philippines. They were thrashed by South Korea, but there was plenty of positives for Timor-Leste in that match. It showed a fair bit of organisation, just sometimes a little too much youthful exuberance here. Lovely touch on. It was that little touch first from Tirasin to then set up Supachok. Talked about trying to cut out these little mistakes here. Beautifully done by Supachok, just dinked it over. This is where they're just got to be a little bit careful, Timor-Leste. Plenty of space down that right-hand side. Just trying to fire that in. Saraj. Another corner for Thailand. It is a gargantuan stadium here. We're nowhere near the 10,000 capacity that's allowed for these matches. They will start to stream in as we get closer to the kickoff of the second game. And Singapore take on Myanmar. So it's relatively quiet in here if you're wondering about the sound, not just your sets. Borden Pala. Interesting that they're pushing the fullbacks up higher on this right-hand side with Narubadin. Far more than on the left. Just dropping here to pick up the ball. It's a loose one, easy to pick up there for Suarez. And he's given it away, not for the first time. Got to be really careful about that. Good work for Borden. Very good on the ball so far, Thailand. The public expects. I think that much has been clear from the comments you're seeing online. Just trying to slip that through for Tirasin. It is put out of play by Johannes Gushmao. Well, there's already been a bevy of corners from Thailand inside the first 15 minutes. They've got the height advantage here for sure. Thailand. And there you go, the first chance, real chance. It crashes off the crossbar. Looks like this Tirasin. We'll get another view of that in a while. The ball is put back into the mix. That is defended much, much better now. Rufinho. Can we try to lead a little counter? Opportunity there. This is where they could be dangerous on those set pieces. Plenty of space down that right-hand side. Needed to be a better ball onto the oncoming Nelson Viegas, who was making a storming run. Look how high up he's being pushed. Just trying to cut inside. Filomeno stood strong. You could see what Superchok was attempting to do. This is that chance. Might have come off. Might be Superchok there who got that final touch onto the crossbar. Says, hold on, just saw a bit of tussling in there. Again, they're getting to those headers first. That is the concern at the moment. Is the one that they will always aim at. From Mazinho on the turn and wanting the ball early. He's been well supported by Suarez. And there, the possession at the moment, it's a whopping 78%. They're approaching 80% already, Thailand. Of course, all that matters is what you do with the ball, and so far, only been one opportunity, really. Tried the beating of the goalkeeper, but not the woodwork. Off the corner a couple of minutes ago. Reminder again that Thailand cruised to 7-0 last time out they played. That was on the 8th of November 2018. Surging into the box and taking the shot, Titipan. Freedom off the box in that situation. And he screws that one wide. Lovely passing and movement from Narubadin, then Supachok. And it was finally Titipan. Seemed to just rush that one. Taken quickly. Looking to show that they mean business here, Thailand. This is the one they just want to put to bed early. Quite often the case is getting that opening goal to try and open the floodgates. But it is fairly stubborn Timor Leste at the moment. On average in the Suzuki Cup concede 4 a game. 32 goals conceded in their last 8 Suzuki Cup matches. It was Emmanuel Beer. Out wide to Titipan. Space on that left-hand side. Good ball into Tirasin, and that's straight at the goalkeeper, Junildo. That is the best chance, without a doubt. It's a beautiful ball played in. And that really ought to be goal number 1. Had to go across the keeper into the far corner. Jorginho uses the ball. That's poor control from him. Straight back into it. He's not wasting a little time. Gordon Pala trying to play the ball forward. Now Supachok. Very fluid at the moment, their movement. Jorginho. Rather optimistic. A little harsh on the man with the very distinctive hair. This was that chance, the ball put in. Lovely ball by Tristan and the header. And Tirasin straight at Junildo. 20 minutes gone, still 0-0 here, Timor Leste, Thailand. The ball into the box there for Sarach Yuyan. Now out wide, Narubadin, who was making all sorts of runs and crosses in the first 10 minutes or so. Not as much of an outlet as he was earlier. Bodin just forced back a bit. Nelson right on him. Everyone back here behind the ball, Timor Leste. No surprises whatsoever. That's all they can do really at the moment. challenge in the end from Filomeno. Looks like there's too much on that one, and it's a bit of frustration at the moment for Thailand. Porking will have known that this is what to expect from Timor Leste. It's about whether they can keep that discipline throughout this match. Referee saying, cut it out. Well, when you're wasting time at 22 minutes or so, when you're just about a quarter of the way through the game, then there's a long, long way to go. In the final third, maybe once so far in this match, Timor Leste have not really threatened at all. Too bothered about that at the moment. Sarach, who's dropped further and further back. Tristan. There's a sweeping ball across to Supachok. Back to Doe. He's come centrally there. Trying to dink it across to Tirasin. It's been a disappointing year for Thailand. They had lofty ambitions. And if you look at the World Cup qualifying campaign, it was almost a mini version of the AFF Suzuki Cup, with the likes of Vietnam, Malaysia and Indonesia in their group. The outstanding team, of course, was the UAE. And Thailand were always vying, really, with Vietnam for that second spot in the qualification to round 3. And the Vietnamese, as we know, have been absolutely brilliant. And really, they're 1 point behind the UAE in the end for that qualification. A block there from Petiwat. Thailand just struggled. They started very well indeed. He's looking a bit more exasperated now, isn't he? And as the tournament progressed, just seemed to drop points left, right and centre, particularly to their Southeast Asian rivals, games in which they probably would have felt they should have won. They've lost to, they drew to Indonesia, who of course they used to be, some would say, and that's no foul there, Paolo Galli. He was trying to take a shot, as he seemed to just collide there with Kritsada. So he continues, 4 attempts so far for the Thais. Only one has really troubled Junildo. Crashed against the crossbar. Narubadin. Well dealt with Suarez. It's almost a 5-man defence at times now. I think they're quite happy to just play it like this. Put an extra man in, and there's just too much on that for Bordimpala. A good run. Now starting to use that left-hand side a lot more than the right, which they did at the start of this match. Spotted the run there, didn't he, Petiwat of Bordin? Now the referee's had enough of this. He feels there was time wasting earlier, gave a warning. And he's going to give a card to Junildo Pereira. It's might be one of the earliest moments I've seen of time wasting in a match. 27 minutes on the clock. So it's just going to be aware of a little bit later on. Junior just seems to have just gone a bit further up the pitch now. Pretty much now quite comfortable playing a 5. Got into good position there, Titipan. Back across to Beer. Will winners to side a corner. We normally see the corners from the other side. That's where they've been problematic so far for Timor Leste. And they've been organised here. Tirsin and Manuel Beer are the obvious ones. Border Palace pretty tall and lanky, but he's not getting involved. He's away by João Suarez. Well, he's fairly happy with these sort of corners. He dealt with that far better. Absolutely delighted with what's gone on so far. Out. They can hold off like this till half-time. It's an immense victory for them. So why they'd be so happy with that. This is where they get dangerous, when they're just a little bit stretched. Not the best of balls in. Got to be doing better than that there, Titipan. Scramble it clear, Timor Leste. Turn here, Bordepala. Super talk. Not a bad effort, just screws it wide. Bordepala is making these sort of runs and trying to take on players. Sucked in a few here. And the shot was on, wasn't it? Cleanest of strikes on it, but there's another chance. Well, the other sides in the group will, I'm sure, be looking onto this very closely indeed. I'm delighted to see Thailand at the moment unable to break the duck, but of course that means it could be just as difficult for them. Narubadin. He's kept that in somehow, Tirsin, and well, it was an awkward kind of save, wasn't it, from the goalkeeper Junildo. Here's Mouzinho. Trying to play that back to Johannes. The angle didn't seem to be in his favour here. Trying to go across the goalkeeper. Made that look a lot more difficult than it probably should have been, but we'll live to see another day here, Timor Leste. They're racking up some chances here, but they've been ones that really ought to be converting. We're starting to get a little idea of why Thailand have not had the best of years. Lost to the last 5 matches. They haven't won any of them. Lost to Oman in a friendly. Drew with Tajikistan 2-2 after taking a 2-0 lead. Drew with Indonesia in the World Cup qualifier, then lost to UAE 3-1, and then in a must-win game against the Malaysians, in which basically winner took all. To get 3rd spot at least. Lost that 1-0. That was in June. Lovely bit of skill there. Suarez. Yeah, flashes like that you're seeing from Timor Leste. A bit of that lusophonic flair, shall we say. Portuguese influence that they've got. Look at that. Gordon Pala, plenty of space, surging run from him on the left-hand side. The ball will just not fall. Super chalk, and it's a wild effort in the end. Gordon Pala has been excellent. Look at that. Oh, space, he had a great run down that left-hand side. Should just get away. Super Choc was just waiting for that to fall nicely for him. I have to say, it was also very good defending for Armindo. Beer goes right across there, almost cut out by Gali. Somebody wanted to get rid of the ball a little too quickly there, Cristobal. Puts the team under pressure again. Narubadin plays that early cross. Headed down by Tirasin. Yes, Super Choc. It's just not falling for him, is it, at the moment? Yeah, he knows it. A little bit frustrating. So he did what he had to do there. Tirasin. Surrounded by players very quickly, isn't he? What we're seeing a lot of is Filomeno basically also just dropping back. Inside, no flag has gone up. Borden. Just a little nibble on him. Quick apology there from Nelson Viegas. He's had a pretty tough time, hasn't he, dealing with Borden Pala. Yeah, no doubt about that one. Eight minutes till half-time. Thailand still unable to breach this dogged Timor Leste back line. They have had their chances. Certainly profligate in front of goal as well. Another card as well for Vegas. Before Tristan Doe can take that again, the referee's just seen a couple of things in there. Kasim Mata from Oman. I think they've defended that well. Way by Firmino. Could have headed that away. Here's Tristan Doe. Narubanin looks up. There's a cross, it's a decent ball! Asking for the corner. So it wasn't, in fact, Tirasin who got the last touch. Still a massive presence in Southeast Asian football, Tirasin Dunga. Really showed the quality that he has, and he possesses. Here's the one, the danger man, Tirasin. 35 years of age, 45 goals for his country. Can hit the magic 50 in this tournament. I think there's a good chance of that happening. Remember that little stint in Almeria in La Liga, didn't really work out for him there. Played in Japan with Sanfrecce Hiroshima and Shimizu S Pulse. Spells Manchester City never made an appearance for them, and Grasshopper and 2 in Switzerland. Certainly been one of Southeast Asia's better imports, better exports, I should say. Hand signals there from Polking. He certainly would have talked about this, you'd have thought, having to be as patient as possible. There was a foul there, no doubt, by Suarez on Supachok. Get the breakthrough just about 5 minutes before the break. He's still alive here. Oh, he's just over Tirasin. Again, it's these little fine margins and the ball will fall. Just couldn't quite get under it. Not the best of clearances, really. Problem is that Timor Leste just cannot clear their lines. There's no outlet for them. There's Gustavo. And Mouzinho, oh, lovely turn from him. Foul by Manuel Beer. Players that Thailand have, a few of them, of course. Here's one, Tristan Lowe. Here's another. There's German Thai descent. From Nuremberg, of course, back in the day. Good pedigree there. Probably the furthest forward they've been all evening, and it's offside. Unfortunately for Nelson Viegas. Frustrated, isn't he? Fabio McGrath, you've got yourself into good position, and it's all gone to waste. Towards Mourinho, that's pretty easily dealt with. Narubad in there, he's suddenly gone over into that left-hand side. It's easy for Junildo. And he hold on. First step, get to half-time with little to no damage. They have almost done that here. Filomeno to his keepers, launched it up quickly. Here's Gali. He's done well. So is Rafinha. Now Viegas. This is about as good as it's got so far for Timor Leste, stringing some passes together, but they do end up going back in the end. Viegas. Can't get too excited here at this point. Gali, Mourinho. The crowd just starting to get excited here. There's no doubt that the neutrals will be going for Timor Leste. Mourinho. It's given away. Suarez. A little bit of applause there, support from the head coach. He's happy what he's seeing. We've had 45 minutes. This has been very good for Timor Leste. Can they hold on for this final minute? And the job is half done for today, at least. In the way there, Armindo. One final chance, perhaps, for Thailand. Not the best of clearances there from Filomeno. It's a decent ball, but keeper Chachai was equal to the task. And it was running away anyway from Mourinho. And there you have it, referee Kasamata calls time on this first half. There were chances for Tirasin, who hit the woodwork, who fired just over. They huffed and puffed Thailand with no reward so far. They've worked hard, but they have found it tough against this rather resolute defense of Timor-Leste, and they've also not had their shooting boots on. It's frustrating for Thailand as they trudge off this pitch here at the National Stadium. And they were hoping to try and wrap things up by halftime, which they did last time these two sides met. They'd already knocked 3 or 4 past the Timorese the last time out, but it's not to be this time. And they'll have to come back all guns blazing in the second half. For now, here at the National Stadium, the first match of the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020 is Timor-Leste 0, Thailand 0.